Hey family, here we are with another travel review, but listen, this is gonna be short and sweet because I never made the trip. I'm trying to remember what year this was. Look, um, let's see. This was another National Geographic Lindblad cruise um, up the west coast of Africa. I forget the port city. Might have been, I don't know, might have been Ghana or somewhere around that Ivory Coast area. Setting out, sail from there all the way up the west coast to, like, I think the cruise finished in Morocco or something like that. And I had been to Africa many times before that, and I had seen, I had visited mostly around the East Africa side, right? And a little bit of South America. When I was a child, we went to a country called Rhodesia, which is now called Zimbabwe, I believe. And we, so I did do some traveling around. I did do some traveling around Africa, but and I had been to Morocco and I don't know, maybe one other country on the west coast of Africa. But so I really wanted to, but it's such a big place. Like, how do you, you can't just take a couple weeks off and go see West Coast Africa. You need a ship to go up the coast and stop in a port and stay for a couple of days and then move on, and then you're just going to barely scratch the surface. But nonetheless, I really wanted to go on this trip, and I had my sights set. I was actually getting ready to book my travel arrangements, and golly, I'm trying to remember the year. Would have been sometime between 2008 and 2009, somewhere in there, maybe 2010. And anyhow, so the trip, was posted on their website, all the details, and sign up here and reserve your spot, and I did that, and was about ready to make all the travel arrangements, and and all of a sudden the trip got canceled. It was taken off of the Lindblad National Geographic itinerary writ large, and with no reason, no reason given, no oh, we're just postponing it, but we'll plan to do it, a couple months later or whatever. No, just completely removed. The West Africa itinerary was removed. Now, remember what I said about in my travel review of Antarctica. And on this Lindblad National Geographic ship were a bunch of diplomats and illuminaries and very important people, don't you know? And well, where I happened to be working at the time was in an underground base. I was working for the North Atlantic Terrorist Organization, or NATO, also referred to as the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, but quite an evil empire indeed. And I had just gotten back from I don't know how many years of nonstop deployments. I mean, went to the war in Iraq in 2003, and then 2004, 2005, I was in Pakistan and Afghanistan, and oh gosh, gosh, and then I was deployed with CENTCOM, Central Command Headquarters, various different let's just say nonstop deployments. And I had I had a diplomatic passport, and yeah, so there we were. I was in this bunker, and I was mostly surrounded by civilians, like people who had never done a day in combat. They never wore a uniform. They never knew what it was like to, you know, actually, you know, execute the wars, right? They were just facilitating them, right? Isn't it always the case, right? So they brought me into this secure container information facility, SCIF. And, you know, it's all compartmentalized. That's the whole purpose of the containers, the secure container, to compartmentalize so that this guy doesn't know what that guy's doing. And you're all working in the same office maybe, or the same building, but you have no idea how your jobs interconnect. Just focused on your one little task, right? And within these circles of the SCIF, I heard rumors of war. Not just the ongoing wars. Not just the war against terror, the war of terror, going on in Iraq and Afghanistan, and the proxy wars in other countries and stuff, and not to mention any of the other covert wars, economic wars, things like this, right? But I'm just talking about boots on the ground, military combat war, right? And dropping bombs and destroying countries, right? So I was of this mindset of the military person in the uniform with the boots on the ground, with the objective, you know, the strategic war planner's objective of what is my objective, and let me pursue that in the most efficient, effective manner, and not muck around and get involved and scope creep and split up the troops and send them over to this country. And you stay focused on the mission, right? Until the mission is complete, until the objective is achieved, you don't go opening up another war. You just don't. That's, from a military strategic point of view, that is just suicidal. I'm sorry if I keep looking over there to the side. My dragon friend is here. He's quite entertaining. See if I can, well, I'll do it later. There's lots of little iguanas running around, and they're so beautiful. Anyway, a little diversion there because we were talking about, it's nice to have a little nature diversion when you're talking about these kinds of things. So anyhow, there I was in this underground facility, and I began to hear rumors of war plans to go and start bombing Libya and Syria. Or were we already in Syria? That's what it was. Sure was. And so anyhow, just want to be careful about how I say this because that's why the trip got canceled. What I'm saying is that Lindblad and National Geographic and all the corporations and everybody was basically told to vacate the area and prepare, you know, to go ahead and get out of the area before they started bombing it. That's why the trip was canceled. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. So in this realm, in this vein, I just want to spit it out there that it's a fact that all the wars are pre-planned, premeditated. Who was that? Wesley Clark? Was it Wesley Clark? The was he three-star general, 4-star general? Having that conversation down there in the Pentagon, and his colleagues were telling him, "Oh man, we're developing, we're told to develop war plans to invade." What was it? 7 countries in 5 years, or I can't remember exactly. But he went on to name them. He sure did. And all these countries had a well, this is just 3D perspective. I'm not even going to talk about the esoteric stuff here. Not at all. I'm just saying 3D skin suit avatar perspective reasons. Natural resources. Sovereign national currency. And we'll just leave it at that. So it's another central banker war. They want to come in and seize, and first of all, destroy the country, right? Just destroy everything. To get the country to come to its knees, right? Destroy the infrastructure, destroy the housing, destroy the hospitals, destroy everything, right? And just get the people to become absolutely desperate. And then look, we have a solution ready for you. It's called a central bank currency. Just give us control of all your national resources and assets, and give us all your gold, or give us your exclusive rights to the oil or gold or silver or whatever the natural resource is. Not that it's a resource, but you get my point. It's not a resource. It's a source. And anyhow, but there we are. Really wanted to do that trip. It was a lot easier to just get on a ship than it would be to fly into each individual country and get a visa and your what's it called? What's the other one they make you do? You got to get your vaccinations, and yeah, it's just easier to just get one trip ticket and get on a boat and pop off and pop back on, and I was just really looking forward to that trip, but it got canceled. And to this day, I just looked at National Geographic Lindblad Expeditions itineraries, upcoming itineraries. West Africa still isn't on there because shit's still going down over there. Anyhow, I'm just saying. How to make your travel plans to coincide and coalesce with the central banks and the wars. Isn't that interesting? So I'm gonna leave that with you, family. I think it was 7 countries that Wesley Clark said, 7 countries in 5 years or something like that. Was Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Libya, oh gosh, I can't remember the others. One of them was also Iran. Basically, everybody on the planet who still had a national sovereign currency that was backed in something of value, and or a national resource that they could say, hey, this backs our currency, and therefore our currency has value. That represents competition for the other side, the central banks, whose debt-based fiat currency has zero value, less than zero, really, if you think about it, the hyperinflation and everything. And it's domination and control. It gives me control of a nation's money supply, and I care not who writes its laws. Now take that to an international stage, and you have world slavery, world domination. You know, that's the mentality of the reptiles who run the central banks. Y'all, twats ruined my vacation. I was really looking forward to that one. I was really looking forward to that trip. Anyhow, just wanted to shoot that out there, and I'll let you ponder that, family, and hope this doesn't get me in trouble with the thought police and violate the community standards. There we are. So until we speak again, I'll see you in the dream world. Ciao for now.